President Donald Trump has been holding urgent talks with his national security team as the conflict between Israel and Iran escalates. In a post online, Trump threatened Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. We know exactly where the so-called supreme leader is hiding. He is an easy target, but is safe there. We're not going to take him out, at least not for now. He went on to call for Tehran's unconditional surrender, warning US patience is wearing thin. Riccardo Alcaro joins us from Rome, from the Istituto Affari Internazionale. When the conflict began, Trump reportedly rejected an Israeli plan to kill Iran's supreme leader. Now he calls Khamenei an easy target. What's changing here?
I just think that Trump is trying to catch up with events he cannot control. I think Trump gave sort of a, well, not really green light, like an amber light to Netanyahu when they spoke before Israel launched its attack. The attack's first victim was, of course, the next round of negotiation of nuclear talks that had been scheduled already between American and Iranian officials in Oman that was supposed to take place on the 15th of June. And from then on, Trump has been seeing Israel scoring points after points. So far, the operation has been a dazzling success, and he has been adapting. He wants probably to be part of the victory, either by adding the threat against Iran, and here is where the direct threat to Ali Khamenei comes, that the United States may be involved and therefore force an unconditional surrender, as you said, which basically means the dismantlement of the nuclear program. Or he will actually join the bombing and attack the last and most important of Iran's nuclear facilities we know of, which is the enrichment center at Fordo, which is built deep underground and is generally assumed to be damageable only with US weapons.
So it's sounding like he's nearing that green light by saying Khamenei easy target, the US is repositioning warships in the region and military aircraft?
Yeah, I mean, I think we clearly seeing an intimidation move, which is pretty serious. But I wouldn't be surprised if the United States eventually join in the fight, because basically it has been Netanyahu who has been calling the shots here. Netanyahu attacking attacking Iran before Trump could actually say, I have exhausted the diplomatic option because the last nuclear talks round went really bad, and now I have to follow up with my threat that there would be consequences, military consequences to Iran's diplomatic rigidity. By eliminating this possibility for Trump, Netanyahu has gotten control of the events, and Trump can only follow. So now he may want to join in the fight. They might actually even go as far as to assassinate the political leader of another country. But look, it's not Khamenei's death that will put the end to the Islamic Republic, which is now being paralyzed by these targeted assassinations of its leaders. But the Islamic Republic is not a pyramidal. It's not a pyramid. It's not a regime which is only centered on the top. So it is a bit too early to assume that by eliminating the heads, the body will die.
Riccardo, as we both know, this conflict has been a couple decades in the making. And back in 2012, you warned any preventive Western-supported Israeli attack on Iran's nuclear facilities would work against the West's interests. Is that still the case more than a decade on with the information we have today?
Well, it depends on what... I mean, Iran does possess a vast civilian nuclear program, which has always been the source of legitimate concerns because of its potential military diversion. But as far as we know, and what we know is what the International Atomic Energy Agency says, as well as the US intelligence community, is that Iran had not taken the decision to weaponize the program, that in fact Iran has always tried to use the nuclear program, at least since 2003, when they put an end to to an embryonic military nuclear program. So since 2003, Iran has always tried to use the nuclear program as leverage for interacting with its enemies, especially with the United States, rather than the base for a deterrent. So there wasn't an imminent threat to Israel. This is a preventive, not preemptive, preventive action by Israel. But the thing Israel wanted to prevent was a nuclear deal that Trump could say okay to and that Israel didn't like. Now, are there risks for Western countries to join in the operation? Well, there is the risk of joining an aggression. I mean, whatever you may think, whether it is justified or not from the point of view of Israel, this was an unprovoked attack against a sovereign country. So it is a deep violation of international law. So that's a risk in terms of reputation and coherence, given that the Western countries tend to be pretty supportive, in words, of international law. And the other risk is we really don't know how this is going to unfold. There is the outcome of an Israeli victory, but there is also an outcome of a protracted conflict and further instability in the region.
We'll have to leave it there. Riccardo Acaro, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.